Now, one thing, Vegas clubs are a lot like WWE shows. Neon lights, loud music, and overpriced merch. But there's one thing that I don't think Las Vegas is ready for, and that is the stink of the IWC. The crusty, musty smell of their mom's basement they bring with them everywhere they go. What is up, guys, and welcome to the Casual WrestlingCast Daily. It is Monday, May 6th. I am the host of the show, the Notorious Nerdy D, and each and every day I talk to you guys, the CWC, about the biggest things going on in the world of professional wrestling. If you enjoy the casual wrestling content, please take a second to join the Casual Wrestling Club. The link is in the description of this video, and it is 100% free to join. That is where we do exclusive giveaways, polls, and drop all of the bonus content for the channel. Let's get started right off the bat with today's top story. This article comes from Ella J at Wrestling Inc. and it says, over the last few weeks, WWE has guided fans on a cryptic treasure hunt, with the final prize rumored to be the new faction led by Uncle Howdy, aka Bo Dallas, the real-life brother of the late Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt. WWE's latest clue revealed the QR code that linked to a phone number and an audio file indicating that several missing people have come together to form a new family in WWE. In the wake of this massive Easter egg, PW Insider is now reporting that this new group will soon present themselves on WWE television as a spin-off of the Wyatt family. Moreover, this Bray Wyatt themed faction will feature new members associated with Bray Wyatt, in addition to some new names who have been subject to absences from the WWE programming. The 5 names currently penciled into this reported group are Bo Dallas, Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, and Eric Rowan. Look, I don't want to take shots at the legacy of Bray Wyatt, but taking a bunch of failed B-card turds and trying to slap a shiny coat of paint on them, that kind of stuff doesn't work in the WWE. If this group does not feature an A-level talent like Braun Strowman or Alexa Bliss, you could count me out. As for all of the QR code shit, enough is enough. We did this with Bray Wyatt for 3 months, and it led to a glow-in-the-dark Mountain Dew Laser Quest match. There's nothing that screams paying tribute to a fallen legend than throwing together a group of jobbers to mess up the vision that he had. If this works, great. You have another faction, but what do you do with that faction? There's not a solid tag team in that list of names. I don't think Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis are setting the tag team world on fire. I guess that this group could wander around and haunt different superstars like Bray Wyatt did to LA Knight for 3 months. But the truth is, to me, that without Bray Wyatt, I don't know that there's enough gasoline to keep a fire like the Wyatt 6 burning long term. And you guys, like, don't get mad, but I get the nostalgia. If that's what we're calling it, I don't know if it's been long enough to call it nostalgia, but I get the nostalgia of wanting to keep Bray Wyatt's vision alive. And it's not lost on me how this helps Bo Dallas and this helps JoJo support Bray Wyatt's family. None of that's lost on me. I just worry that this ultimately is going to fail. I worry that who's steering this ship? Is this now Bo Dallas's vision? Is this now WWE Creative's vision? Where do you insert this group? Who grabs the microphone on a weekly basis and talks? Is it Bo Dallas? Are we letting Dexter Lumis talk? Are we letting Joe Gacy talk? There's a lot of mouths to feed inside of a group this big, and I just don't know if the creative supports that. And maybe I'm just a hater, because most of the names on this list are wrestlers that I don't find particularly special at any one thing in the ring. I don't overly find Dexter Lumis to be that exciting, or Joe Gacy. But what I do know is that we cannot drag this thing out for another 6 weeks. We can't have another 6 weeks of QR codes. I haven't scanned one. I haven't paid attention one time when the screen glitches and the QR code pops up. This doesn't have the same allure and that same kind of novelty that it had the first time we did it. We know who's coming. We know what this is leading to. We had to speculate last time that it was going to be Bray Wyatt and what that meant, but we've all watched the documentary. We know the vision. We know what's being set up here. Now let's get to it. Let's put this thing under a microscope and let's see if these guys can actually pull it off. I'm rooting for this to be successful. I have my doubts about it. But what I don't doubt, guys, is how much WWE Backlash Premium Live Event surprised me as a card. So let's transition to tonight's Backlash in review. All right, so Backlash was fun. It was fun. It was a solid, to me, 8 out of 10. And it doesn't matter what score I give something. Half of the people who hear this are going to scream, that's too low. The other half are going to say that I'm a WWE drone and it's way too high of a score. But it's my score, dipshits. It's my opinion. You don't like it, don't listen to me. It's plain and simple. Now, for the simple minds who don't agree but are willing to listen to me break down, I will gladly tell you what I liked and didn't like about the event, starting with this whole overblown crowd situation. Here's the problem with the Backlash crowd. I know the IWC gets a hard-on whenever crowds take over shows, but the reality was this was just a cute bit. And trust me when saying this isn't what we want as fans on a weekly basis. This can't become the new normal. Let's stop taking shits on American crowds all of a sudden because it's the cool hipster thing to do, because as an American audience, we know how to sit there and act like we've been to a wrestling event before. The French crowd, cute novelty. It was cute. You guys can scream for 3 hours. You clearly know how to repeat the same chant over and over and over on cue for every 2 count. Now, Jey Uso's entrance, it was lit, not gonna lie. That was dope. Y'all did a good job. But when you sing the same song for the 75th time during the main event, it's like, we get it. The IWC is going to have to chill with this whole sentiment that France is the best crowd of all time and that they need a WrestleMania. Look, I have a kid who can scream for 3 hours as well, but I'm not going to reward them for that. One important part of being a fan is hitting the right beats of the night, not just hitting every beat you possibly can. Now, in saying that, I will admit that this Backlash card probably needed this type of crowd in order to feel as special as it felt. The moment-to-moment wrestling on the Backlash card was absolutely amazing. And I'm not a fan of moment-to-moment wrestling. Now, the predictability of the card, I could live without it. Nothing really special happened that left me with that, oh, this is going to be meaningful down the line. And I hear the argument. I already hear the argument coming. Oh, Nerdy D, we got a big surprise. It was in the Bloodline match. Did we, though? Did we really, though? Was that really a big surprise? Are we really going to call the return of Camacho a big surprise? It was definitely something. It was definitely a return. And it definitely is going to attempt to overshadow how great of a match that was that Kevin Owens and Randy Orton and Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga put on. But was it really a big deal? Was it really a big surprise? Did we not know? Were we not conditioned to kind of know that this was coming? We know that the Bloodline's going to get bigger. I don't want to let this overshadow how good of a match this actually was. I don't want to let this overshadow the fact that I think this is my match of the year. This is the best wrestling match that has happened in 2024. I get it. The IWC likes to watch Will Ospreay and Daniel Bryan hug for an hour and flip around and do Cirque du Soleil, and that's not for me. This is what I like. I like grown men fighting and walking around the arena and actually getting to some real action. But guys, we can't, every new member that shows up for the Bloodline, we can't warrant an overreaction. We can't get overly excited. This is building to something, and I'm all in. I think we're all in. Like, we all want this to happen, but we can't pretend that every time someone returns, it's better than the wrestling match that's in front of us. And like I said, my match of the year, my match of the night. So next we got the triple threat between Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, and Bayley. Guys, I hate Bayley's new theme song. I hate Bayley's new character. She 100% should have gone babyface with a modified version of her original theme song, the hugging theme song. We can make it a little more metal. We could rock it up a little bit, but same lyrics and go back to those same vibes. This in-between gray space doesn't work for everybody, and it's definitely not working for Bayley. Bayley feels extremely undefined to me right now. But having said all that, I think this was another one of those matches that coming into the night, I thought could have been good. I expected it was going to have, some problems, but at the end of the night, it exceeded all of my expectations. And the only thing I'll say about this match is what I talked about in the beginning is the crowd in this match hindered Tiffany Stratton's ability to really portray a heel. I think that this crowd, once again, when I say 3 hours of just screaming doesn't make you a great crowd, they didn't react to the heels the way that you want the heels to get reacted to in a WWE show. I think that, look, Tiffany Stratton's the real deal. She showed out. She shows she can stand on her own. It's time, put the title on her as fast as possible, because Bayley's not going to carry us through the summer. Bayley just doesn't have it. Unless Bayley gets some kind of extreme shot in the arm, either goes just way left on Babyface or returns back to being a heel, I don't think Bayley has long-term champion written on her right now. And so look, say what you want. I thought that was a solid match to follow up. It's tough to follow up what happened in that first match, and I think they did in a phenomenal job of doing that. So after that, we got Damian Priest and Jey Uso. I'm sorry. This is where I jump off of the Triple H can do nothing wrong train. I've been a huge supporter of Triple H through this whole thing, but we have to call him out when I think he missed opportunities. And I think this was ultimately a missed opportunity here. I think, I may be in the minority, but I think Jey Uso should have won this match. I think there was a surprise element that could have been had by switching the title back off of Damian Priest, 1 month after winning it at WrestleMania, and kind of having this trail of upset people about the World Heavyweight Championship. Instead, it's kind of business as usual. And I get it. I get that we're building towards Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. I just don't think that's as exciting as Jey Uso being the champion. I think that Finn Balor and Damian Priest works without the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that from what I saw in France, the way the crowd reacted to Jey Uso, the way Jey Uso is starting to affect pop culture outside of just pro wrestling, I think this is one of those moments where WWE has to strike while the iron is hot and not do what they did with Jimmy and Jay 6 months ago when they had a hot iron and they could have put those two in a match against each other. Instead, they were like, let's put that on the back burner and we'll save it for WrestleMania. And by the time we got to WrestleMania, it ends up being a match that gets cut for time. I think that's what they're, you risk doing that with Jey Uso again. Right now, he is the hottest guy on the WWE roster. He is in that LA Knight moment that we had 6 months ago where guys are climbing and you better strap the rocket on their back because they can cool off extremely fast. I think it was a missed opportunity. I think we are in the Yeet era. You should put the title on Jey Uso. Let's see where the hell he takes us. I think Monday Night Raw has a babyface problem. If you honestly ask me, right now, Monday Night Raw does not have a clear-cut babyface that can lead the company going forward. It's not CM Punk. CM Punk will have to turn heel at some point in order to be ultimately effective. We saw this in AEW. Babyface CM Punk only works for so long. Next up on that list is the name Jey Uso, and you better get behind him while he's hot, because what you don't want is now this is his third loss in going for a WWE title. I think it's time to turn the ship around and let's see what Jey Uso can do. I don't know what anybody expects me to say about the women's championship match, except for, I told you so. I called this a long time ago. I'm an absolute genius. Like, this was absolutely perfect booking for Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair gets protected. She gets to hold the title. She doesn't have to be a part of major storylines for the foreseeable future. You protect her. Jade Cargill gets to hold the title. She gets to look special, even though, guys, we can lie to ourselves all we want. Jade Cargill is extremely green in the ring. You can see it. She's not ready to carry matches on her own, but that's why this booking works. Is because you give her the proper time to learn, to show out, to have some big moments, but Bianca Belair comes in and does all the real heavy lifting. Bianca Belair is the EST of WWE. If there was any question by anybody in the IWC, in the CWC, on whether you take Jade Cargill or you take Bianca Belair, it was made very clear at Backlash that Bianca Belair is light years ahead in the talent department over Jade Cargill. And I want to say something. I want to give flowers to Bianca Belair. I want to talk about this Bianca Belair situation because this seems like the prime opportunity for someone like Bianca Belair, who has put in the work for the last 3 or 4 years, to see somebody come in and see somebody step into your spotlight and to immediately become jealous. I wish right now that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks would pick up a notepad and some paper and take notes, because Bianca Belair is putting on a lesson on how you bring in other talent and you spotlight them even when they are not ready, even when they are going to take some of your shine, even when they may affect you just a little bit. But in the end, it's going to benefit the WWE. It's going to benefit Bianca Belair. And I wish AEW could understand that it is okay to put other people over. It is okay to share the spotlight. And it looks like Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are having fun while doing it. If AEW would have handled CM Punk coming into their company the way Bianca Belair has handled Jade Cargill coming into the company, they would be in a much better position today. Last, we have the main event. Solid match. Not a lot to say here. First WWE title match in a long time that just ended clean. There was no big surprise. There was no run-in. It was a little bit refreshing to see. I've seen some of the IWC going, oh, we didn't get a surprise ending. We didn't get any big moment to end the show. I think that was by design. I think this was meant to kind of show the world, the wrestling world, that we're going to be okay without Roman Reigns. We're going to be okay with good wrestling matches. Not everything has to be a spectacle. It's been like 3 years since we had a clean WWE title match finish. And to have just a solid match, good intensity, good wrestling, that's okay. That's okay. Now, do I think Cody's going to have to transition out of this I'm just Dusty's boy? Yeah, definitely. This isn't going to work long-term for Cody Rhodes. At some point, he's going to have to find a shtick that doesn't revolve around being Dusty Rhodes' son. Every match that Cody has can't be in memoriam to Dusty Rhodes. We're going to have to figure out. But we're in good hands. We can transition away from Roman Reigns now. I feel comfortable. We had a good main event. We had a good card. We had a good night all the way around. We can talk about the post-show a little bit. There's not a lot to talk about. I see the IWC saying, these post shows are so stupid. WWE doesn't know how to do them. What do you expect? They're just cool downs after the show. They're an opportunity for a couple of wrestlers to get to say a couple of things. Are they a little bit hokey? Sure. Can we find some people to ask better questions? Please. I would love that. But ultimately, these are just opportunities for Triple H to come out and gloat and take his victory lap after these beautiful premium live events he's putting on. Only thing I'd say is, can we figure out if these things are going to be kayfabe? And can we warn the wrestlers, let's stay in character, let's talk like this is all real? Or are we going to understand that once we step out into these press conferences that we're taking wrestler hat off and we're putting, entertainer's hat on, and we can talk openly kind of behind the curtain of the business. But I think with time, these things will get better. Now, speaking of time, it's time for a new daily segment called The Botch of the Day. Today's big botch of the day comes from, you guessed it, yours truly, Drew Gulak. Why anyone cares about Drew Gulak is besides me. The guy sounds like an absolute piece of shit. I can tell you one thing, point blank. If Drew Gulak tried to dislocate my finger that was already dislocated, he wouldn't need to be released from his WWE contract. He'd need to take up permanent residence in a medical facility. It sounds like being a piece of shit just runs in this guy's family. You guys go look up the alleged allegations against his brother. I'm not a Cody Rhodes mark by any means, but from what I can see, Cody Rhodes appears to be at least a pretty stand-up guy. If Cody Rhodes makes it a point to go on the Busted Open radio show and take a hot shit on you, Drew Gulak, I'm assuming you're probably a piece of work. Like, I know that this is all alleged at this point, but if this turns out to be true, fuck Drew Gulak. You botched what little bit of a career you had left. And with that, it is time for our final thoughts. So the big news from Saturday was that WrestleMania is dodging the hellhole called Minnesota and actually going to a city capable of hosting it, Las Vegas. Now, one thing, Vegas clubs are a lot like WWE shows. Neon lights, loud music, and overpriced merch. But there's one thing that I don't think Las Vegas is ready for, and that is the stink of the IWC. The crusty, musty smell of their mom's basement they bring with them everywhere they go. So here's a PSA for the IWC. Let's figure it out, guys. Let's figure out how to shower correctly before April 19th, okay? I know that's asking a lot. And I know you've heard the slogan of what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But you guys, there's a different slogan for you. What it smells like in your mom's basement should stay in your mom's basement. Here's the checklist for you basement rats. Pack deodorant, cologne, shampoo, and breath mints. Yes, you're going to need all of the above. Nothing is optional. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on tonight's episode. Make sure to join the Casual Wrestling Club. Link in the description of this video. Thank you guys as always for taking the time to hang out. I am Nerdy D, and we will talk about wrestling tomorrow.